Let me ask you something very honestly. When a child misbehaves, what is the first thing that comes to mind? Do you immediately think about punishment? Do you feel anger rising inside you? Do you sometimes ask yourself, why is this child so stubborn? Now let me ask another question. Have you ever stopped to ask, what is this child trying to learn? What is this behavior trying to communicate? What kind of adult am I raising? Because here is the truth that many people never talk about. Discipline is not just about controlling behavior. Discipline is about shaping character. It is about preparing a child for life. And the way we guide children today determines the kind of adults they become tomorrow. That is why the Bible says, train your child in the way they should grow, and when they are old, they will not depart from it. This is not just about religion. It is about responsibility. It is about understanding that every word, every action, every correction, and every lesson we give a child is planting seeds for the future. Today on Hope Rise channel, we are talking about something that affects every home, values and discipline. And this lesson may completely change the way you correct children. Stay with me. Every child enters the world without knowing everything. Children are not born understanding respect, responsibility, honesty, patience, or kindness. They learn these things slowly. And the first teachers in a child's life are parents and caregivers. Children learn values from what they see around them. They watch how adults speak. They watch how adults solve problems. They watch how adults respond to stress, anger, disappointment, and conflict. And little by little, children begin copying what they see. This is why values are so important. Values are the principles and behaviors we want children to carry through life. Things like respect, honesty, kindness, responsibility, patience, self-control, compassion, hard work. These values help children become responsible and healthy adults. But values are not taught only through words. They are taught through daily life. For example, if a parent tells a child to speak respectfully, but constantly insults people, the child becomes confused. If a parent teaches honesty, but lies in front of the child learns something different. Children listen with their ears, but they learn most with their eyes. That is why positive parenting teaches us that discipline begins with example. Parents must become role models. Because whether we realize it or not, children are always watching. Now let us talk about discipline. Many people fear this word. Some people think discipline means punishment. Others think discipline means control. But positive parenting teaches us something different. Discipline is not about hurting children. Discipline is about teaching children. The goal of discipline is not fear. The goal is learning. A child should understand why a behavior is wrong and how to make better choices next time. This is very important, because fear may stop behavior for a moment, but understanding changes behavior for life. Unfortunately, many people grew up believing harsh punishment was the only way to discipline children. Some were beaten severely. Some were insulted or humiliated. Some were constantly shouted at. And because that is what they experienced, they may believe it is normal. But here is something we must understand. Pain does not always teach wisdom. Sometimes pain teaches fear. Sometimes it teaches anger. Sometimes it damages the relationship between parent and child. A child who is constantly humiliated may begin to believe they are worthless. A child who is constantly beaten may obey out of fear, but not truly learn self-control. This is why positive discipline encourages guidance instead of violence. Children still need correction. Children still need boundaries, but they do not need to be harmed to learn. Let us make this practical. Imagine a child spills water on the floor. One parent may immediately slap the child and shout. The child becomes afraid. But another parent may calmly say, "Let us clean this together. Next time, be more careful." In the second example, the child still learns responsibility, but without fear or shame. Now, this does not mean parenting becomes soft. Positive discipline is not about allowing children to do anything they want. No, children need boundaries. They need structure. They need guidance. But guidance should build the child, not destroy them emotionally. Discipline should help the child grow. Now let us talk about something very important. Not all misbehavior is the same. Sometimes children behave badly because they are testing limits. Sometimes they are tired. Sometimes they are hungry. Sometimes they are overwhelmed emotionally, and sometimes the behavior is connected to development. For example, a baby crying is not being naughty. A toddler touching everything is exploring. A teenager questioning rules may be learning independence. When parents understand child development, they discipline with more wisdom. This is why understanding the child matters. Before reacting, ask yourself, what is happening behind this behavior? This simple question can completely change your response. Now, let us look at practical ways to use positive discipline. 1. Set clear expectations. Children need to know what is expected. Do not assume they automatically understand rules. Explain clearly and calmly. For example, in this house we speak respectfully. We clean up after ourselves. We do not hit others. Consistency is important. When rules change every day, children become confused. 2. Correct calmly. Many parents discipline when angry, but anger often leads to hurtful words and harsh reactions. When emotions are high, pause before reacting. Take a breath. Calm yourself first. Remember what we learned in the previous session. An empty lantern provides no light. A stressed parent may discipline out of frustration instead of wisdom. 3. Focus on teaching. Discipline should teach life skills. Teach children how to apologize, how to solve problems, how to manage emotions, how to respect others. The goal is not just to stop bad behavior. The goal is to help the child become a better person. 4. Use consequences that teach. Children learn through consequences. For example, if a child throws toys carelessly, they may lose access to the toy for some time. If a teenager damages trust, they may lose certain privileges. The consequence should connect to the behavior, and it should help the child learn responsibility. 5. Praise positive behavior. Many parents notice mistakes quickly, but ignore good behavior. Children need encouragement. When you notice kindness, honesty, responsibility, or effort, say it. I appreciate your honesty. Thank you for helping. I am proud of how you handled that. Positive attention strengthens positive behavior. Now let us talk about real-life parenting struggles. Because parenting is not always easy. Sometimes parents are tired. Sometimes children repeat the same mistakes again and again. Sometimes caregivers feel overwhelmed. And sometimes parents fear that if they are not strict enough, children will become spoiled. But here is the truth. Children do not become responsible because they fear their parents. They become responsible because they learn self-control, empathy, and accountability. And these things are taught through consistent guidance. Now let us discuss children with special challenges. Some children may have developmental delays or disabilities. Some may struggle emotionally because of trauma, family separation, or stress. These children may require extra patience. For example, a child with emotional trauma may struggle with anger or trust. A child with developmental delays may take longer to understand instructions. Positive discipline reminds us to look beyond behavior and understand the child's situation. This does not mean removing boundaries. It means disciplining with understanding and care. Now let us talk about one of the biggest mistakes many adults make. Correcting behavior while destroying the relationship. Some children become so afraid of their parents that they stop communicating. They hide mistakes. They lie to avoid punishment. They fear opening up. But healthy discipline should strengthen trust, not destroy it. Children should feel safe enough to tell the truth. This happens when correction is done with love and wisdom. Now, let us talk about emotional discipline. Children must learn how to manage emotions. Many adults today struggle with anger, conflict, and emotional control because they were never taught emotional discipline as children. So when your child becomes angry, do not only punish the behavior. Teach emotional skills. Teach them, how can we calm down? How can we express feelings respectfully? How can we solve this problem peacefully? These are life skills. And life skills are more valuable than fear-based obedience. Now let us discuss family values. Every family should identify the values they want children to grow up with. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want this child to become? Not just, what behavior do I want to stop? There is a difference. One focuses only on control. The other focuses on growth and character. A family that values honesty should practice honesty. A family that values kindness should practice kindness. A family that values respect should demonstrate respect. Values must be lived daily. Children learn values through repeated experiences. Now let us be honest again. Sometimes parents themselves were never taught healthy discipline. Some grew up in homes filled with shouting, violence, or fear. So positive parenting may feel unfamiliar. But changing the way we care begins with learning. It begins with choosing not to repeat harmful cycles. And this is powerful, because when one parent changes, a generation can change. Now imagine this. Imagine a child growing up in a home where they are guided with wisdom. A home where mistakes become learning opportunities. A home where discipline teaches responsibility instead of fear. What kind of adult will that child become? Most likely, confident, responsible, respectful, emotionally healthy. This is the power of positive discipline. As we come to the end of this session, remember this. The goal of parenting is not to raise children who fear you. The goal is to raise children who understand values, make wise choices, and carry those lessons into adulthood. So train your child in the way they should grow. Teach with patience. Correct with wisdom. Guide with love. Because every lesson you teach today is shaping someone's future tomorrow. And in our next session, we are going to talk about one of the most powerful tools in parenting, communication. Because many family problems do not begin with a lack of love. They begin with a lack of communication. We will learn how to listen better, speak better, and connect better with our children. You do not want to miss it. Subscribe to HopeRise channel. Share this video with another parent or caregiver. And join us as we continue changing the way we care for children. Because when we guide children with love and wisdom, we build stronger families and a better society. Stay with me.